Hello, love angels. It's your girl Shamika for God's glory. Sorry about the light. Today's Testimony Tuesday video is a very special one. I want to honor and pay tribute to my friend Nicholas Marshak. A lot of you guys saw the picture that I posted on my Instagram this past weekend, and first off, I want to thank those who did reach out to me with their condolences. I truly, truly appreciate it. I have to say, I've dealt with loss, as we all have. This one is really hurting a lot, I know absent with the body is present with the Lord. And I know that we all have a time in a season and that this was his season, but it's just hard. This one is like unsettling. It's just hard to believe he's not here. So in order to pay tribute, I thought, what better than to come back to where it started. I'm literally at Juice Press. I'm parked in the same spot I would park in every morning before walking in to work with my buddy. I kind of go in and out of crying throughout the day because it's still really, really hard and surreal to believe that he's no longer here in the flesh. But I'm gonna go in a moment, and I'm gonna come back and share some stories with you guys, but I want to go in and let you guys really get a feel of what our relationship, well, you won't really know what our relationship was like, our friendship was like, but at least you can kind of see where we were, so when I talk about the stories, it'll kind of make sense and you have a visual. So I'm going now, and we'll see. So my next clip should prayerfully be me in there, and if not, then you'll see me back in here, because I don't know if there's certain rules to that, if I can tape in that area or not. So we shall see. So pray in this next moment that the next clip you see will be me in Juice Press. All right. Where I'm standing now is actually where I stood in that video that you guys saw, the last video of us, my last day working here with him. Sorry, the light is still sunny out, but I'm about to head in now. I know I said the next clip, but I thought I would just kind of stand where we stood. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys, so this was the area. Here's the, he and I used to do inventory and go through the soups. He actually told me about these Mediterranean ones. He really loved this one, the Mexican Fiesta. I was like, I kind of think this one, the pesto mushroom noodle, but he was right, it was this one. He loved the raw vegan chocolates. I definitely remember that. They have a lot of new things here. And right here, whenever our inventory came, we would put everything here and have to pack it up. Here's our tip jar. We used to really put on the tips. And these were amazing. Crackle del Jacko. And these are the chocolate chips he and I used to argue over. These are the chocolate and the vanilla. I swore up and down that the vanilla was better, and he said, no, the chocolate chip is better. And then over time, the chocolate chip became my fave. So he was right in the end. This is our board. He taught me how to make almond milk from scratch. This was the area here. And we used to do our soups here. We used to we give out samples. Wow, this is just surreal right now. And then here was our frozen fruit. So we used to just make our smoothies and blenders over there. Is this open? Is this open? Oh. And this was where we would do the, wash our blenders and put our stuff here. And he and I, as I'm standing here, it's surreal because so many memories are coming back. He and I organized this area It was really crazy at one point. And I remember one day he just went in and, you know, did his thing. And we just worked so well together. We made sure the spot was really, really clean. And it was such a pleasure and an honor to work with him. So, juice press forever. Alright, so I'll be back with some stories. Oh, and one last thing is, I'm just gonna, right here, he used to have a book, and he used to always read his book, and he'll be over in the corner. He would leave his coffee, and I would always move it and clean it. He didn't realize I was doing it, but I was. So, I'll be back shortly with more with more stories. Alright guys, so it's kind of crazy. I'm here talking to one of his coworkers, and I'm like, oh, Nick's favorite soup was the lentil mushroom chili. That's not a coincidence. I think I'm gonna have a little taste just in honor of him again. Okay, it's comforting being here. It's sad at the same time, but alright, I'll be back. The memories just keep coming back, guys, but this is our tip jar, and whenever we would get the tip, he would always give me the extra dollar or the extra change. That was just a gentleman in him. Gosh, it's like more and more memories are just coming back. And then they have this picture here. And these are the little sample cups. We used to laugh because we had some people come, they're like, ooh, can I try this soup? Knowing that they tried it like a million times, but we were just kind of like, just keep giving it to them, but we always had jokes about that. This is where I sat the first day I was waiting for Nicholas to come, and when I first met him. Alright, this is Nick's favorite soup. It was the lentil mushroom chili. And being that lentils are a part of my clan, it works out. I'm just gonna have a bite in honor. We always liked it with the hot sauce. It has mushrooms in it. He always loved this one, and I love the split pea. But then when I added the hot sauce, I'm like, yeah, this is good. It's just amazing because it's no coincidence, none. We used to put like 3 or 4 soups out at a time. Hot. We used to put well, initially we used to do 1 a day. Then they want us to put more out, and we would always put like our favorites out. Well, not all the time, but you know, because we can have samples. But it's no coincidence that out of all the soups they could have had out today, they had that one. No coincidence at all. All right, everybody. On to the next clip. Alright guys, so I'm walking back to my car. I remember he used to always like park all the way in the back because he didn't always want people to know where he was parked. But you know, randomly we would walk out together and like, bye buddy, and give him a hug. You know, I thought it was gonna be really hard. I mean, it was really hard coming here, but I also found some comfort and some new memories came about. But I guess I can just continue. Just now, I was talking with the front desk, and honestly, I was just getting some testimonies from people who I haven't met before, who wasn't working when I was there, just sharing their stories. It just shows what kind of man Nick was. One guy just gave an example of, or a story when there was like a big blackout, and you know, he was really calm and got everyone out, and Nick was just sweet. And I don't mind even sharing this, but you know, sometimes you may give someone a free cup of coffee or something, you know, and that was the kind of guy he was. We had you know, like our maintenance, you know, would work extremely hard, and sometimes we'd be like, here's a cup of coffee. Like, that's just who he was. I already told you guys about the tip jar. Like, we would definitely split the tip jar, but if it was like a few cents like left, he would tell me to do it, or he would give me that extra dollar. Or if, he was on break and we got extra tip, he would like take the tip and give it to me to make sure, like, I don't know, it was just comforting. And you know, I'm just gonna now look at him as another guardian angel watching over. I mean, he already did, in regards to how I found out. So just to backtrack for those who didn't know, in the post that I put up, I go to Whole Foods all the time to get my Beyond Meat burgers, and he works at one of the Whole Foods, and I haven't been to that location in a while, but now that I work in a different area, I'm closer to that one. So one day I went there looking for the burgers and I couldn't find it, so I was like, oh, let me see if Nick is here, and you know, he'll cheer me up just seeing him. They said he just left for the day. Then the next week I went again. This is the Saturday, this is June 30th actually, the day before he passed. And I looked out for him, but I didn't see him. And then July 1st. And I remember July 1st. July 1st was like, for those who remember, they were saying this is going to be like the hottest day, and they had like the heat advisory, and Nick was very like careful on what he ate and what he put in his body, making sure he was hydrated. Like, he's done these runs before, which just goes to show like this was just his time. So fast forward, Friday, July 6th, I'm working out, you know, doing my Beachbody workout, and a mutual friend of ours from Equinox, one of the trainers, her name is Sam. She was awesome. Like, when me and Nick started, and we used to like always push the soups, and we made a really great team. Like, we always said that we got a lot of the people there, because a lot of people were upset because there was a restaurant there right before us. So, you know, a lot of people were like anti-juice press, and you know, we just kind of, with our own natural charm, we kind of drew people in, and we would let them try the soups, and they're like, oh, it's too hot for soup. I'm like, it's never too hot for soup. And then we started putting samples out, making little posters, and just trying to engage everyone. And I'm saying all this to say what? I go off tangent all the time. Oh gosh, I forgot what I was saying, guys. Sorry, I had so many thoughts about him. I'm like losing it right now. And I'm not editing this, because I can definitely edit this so you guys don't know. So, okay. It was Belle Sam. So Sam was one of our regulars. She loved our chocolate chip cookies and our soup. So I'm working out, and I get a text, and it says, hey, did you hear about Nick? Most people, if you hear something like that, you're going to be like, you're going to think the worst. But I just kept working out. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to think anything. I said, maybe he moved, maybe he got a promotion. Sorry, a guy just walked out and he looked like him, and it just kind of threw me for a minute. So I didn't want to think that. And if anything happened, I would have rather like heard he was in the hospital or something, not that he wasn't here. So I kept working out, and then I would, you know, you still have it on your mind, so I kind of kept glancing at my phone, and then all I saw was like the word passed, and I just broke down. I lost it at that point. And as I said, I've dealt with death before, but this was just different. And it's not so much that he was young. That's a big thing too, but it's just like, no, not you. Like, not anyone, but you know, like when you think of people you care about, and you're like, huh? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, oh, and actually, to backtrack, whenever someone crosses my mind, I make sure to contact them, because you know, sometimes you'll hear about someone passing and you're like, oh man, I was thinking about them and I was gonna call them, but you didn't. So I've stopped doing that. Like, if someone crosses my mind, I reach out. So I just started a new job, and he works at Whole Foods, and I wanted to see about connecting with him. So I had a note on my desk, connect with Nick on this, and check up on Nick. Like, I always just like check in with him. And on July 2nd, I happened to just look at this on the day that I found out. And I wrote on July 2nd, "Hey buddy, how are you? It's been way too long." That was my message. I wrote that July 2nd, not knowing he passed the 1st, which means he was on my mind for a reason. Sorry, something's in my throat. So she was, she gave me a little heads up as to what happened, and she was going to look into more. I just decided to Google. I would never normally Google someone after finding out they passed. So I just Googled Nicholas Marshak, and instantly 2 articles came up. One that kind of talked about what happened, and then the other one was an obituary memorial page. When I looked on it, it said services July 6th, which was the day I found out. So I just know that none of that was by accident. That was all God. I feel comfort knowing that that was Nick reaching out to me, making sure that I knew, because I was off that day. And I had my own plans as to things that I wanted to do. And I read a devotional that day that kind of stemmed on, you may not do the plans that you had set for the day. Like, I was planning on making a bunch of cookies for Veggie Castle, and I had like this whole set plan that was in motion, and God was like, nope. So he was preparing me. So, I changed around my schedule, drove out to Deer Park, and I was, blessed enough to meet his sister and his brother and his sister-in-law and his mom, his dad, and his girlfriend. And, when I looked, I kept telling his sister, I'm like, I see him when I look at you. Like, they get the same eyes, everything. And, his family is just beautiful. I see, where he got his charm and, everything from. But there will never, ever be anyone like Nicholas Marshak. I always thought his name was so unique. Just a little bit about our friendship. So I showed you guys the seat, and I showed you where he showed me how to make almond milk, and we did the soups. I showed you guys where we reorganized, and the tip jar, and more memories just keep coming to me. I used to talk with him about my dad. He's the one who told me about Three Brothers, the restaurant I tell you guys about, the vegan restaurant. He got me onto that. He used to be vegan. He was vegan, flexitarian, fruitarian, pescatarian, and he stopped going vegan. He stopped the vegan diet for personal reasons. So he pretty much was vegan, but he would incorporate from time to time like eggs and fish and things like that. Or like grass-fed meat, I believe he talked about from time to time. He loved good music. He was just funny. I remember a time when we had a big Equinox party, and they had a DJ, and we were just in the back dancing, and he was just doing his his Nick dance. He used to always, I told you, stand in that corner with his book, and he was standing there reading his book, and I still see him there right by the light. He used to like the sunset, and he would show me pictures when he used to run. He used to run in sandals, and I'm like, how do you run in this? When I started my cookie business, I started it earlier this year, but last year I was making them for myself, and I was letting people try them. And I remember that day I brought him like cookies in aluminum foil, and he loved them, and he was like, oh, you should sell your cookies here, I would buy them. And then I remember his birthday. I knew he loved my cookies so much, so I gave him a few with a card. And he was also so thoughtful, and he would like share some of the stories. Like, one of his best friends, they were throwing a birthday party for her last year, and he was just telling me all the detail that he put into it. And a lot of guys, there are some guys out there that do pay attention to detail, and they're very particular and they care, and he was one of those people. He was just really a genuine friend, like, I don't have many of those. Like, I have a lot of girlfriends, a few guy friends, like from church or school, like people you just kind of know from over the years. But he was someone who I met, and we instantly became friends. And even after I left Juice Press, we still kept in touch, and I would still come and visit and see him at Whole Foods. And I'm trying to think of any other memory right now. And I'm sure they're gonna, come to me as time goes on. But I'm just happy that you guys get to have a sneak peek into our friendship. I'm gonna miss him so much. I was looking forward to us hanging out outside of work because we were supposed to do that a long time ago, but you know, I told you his schedule. He would work with me until from 5:30 to noon, and then he would leave me and then go to Whole Foods and then come in the next day walking like this in the room like a zombie. And I'm like, go and get some rest. You know, like we had breaks and stuff, so I'm like, just go and take a little break. Like, I got it over here. Like, we just looked out for each other. And I truly feel that I always said, like, I was meant to go to Juice Press, so you know, like that kind of was what started my whole vegan plant-based journey. But it was also to meet Nick, you know, because I was only at Juice Press for a short amount of time, but I was there to meet such a beautiful soul like him. And you know, I just pray that he's resting in peace. And yeah, also he was 30 and he was turning 31 at the end of this month. I believe July 30th. So yeah, but like I said, now you guys get a sneak peek into his life, at least from my perspective, and just the amazing man that he was. And I'm trying to like think of other memories, but I can't at this moment. Yeah, all I can say is rest in peace, Nicholas. Nick. I never called you Nicholas except my first day. I love you, buddy. Say hello to my daddy. And you ran your last race. Oh, I didn't tell you guys that. So I know that seemed like such an ending. I found out that I'm so sorry I skipped this part. When Sam told me and I googled, it said that he passed away during his race. There was a Wilmington race out in Long Island, and I thought he ran the race and then passed away. I found out later from his brother and sister-in-law he was a half mile away from the finish line, and he passed from heat stroke, just overexertion from the heat. You know, the article said that he was healthy. The medical exam, he was fine, because he was like the healthiest person I knew, and funny, sarcastic, very sarcastic. Another memory, he would come in and he'd be like, oh, I'm probably going to be bitter today. And I'm like, but he was never bitter with me. He would think that he was being bitter, or he'll apologize for being bitter. I'm like, you're not bitter. But yeah, he literally passed during his last race, you know, like, that's what comforts me as well. Not many people can say, and hopefully I didn't say this all in the beginning of this video, because now my thoughts are just all over the place. Not most people can say that the person they loved, cared about, passed away doing what they loved. You know, he loved to run. He ran all the time. And he literally ran his last race. You know, he was running when he passed. He pushed himself, like, it was up and down slopes, and I believe the last half mile was going downward, and that's when it happened. So yeah, I'm just gonna end this video now with a quick clip of us on my last day, the one that I posted up on my Instagram. Well, it's gonna be posted up today. Maybe it's not posted up just yet, but hope you enjoy. Rest in peace, Nicholas. Why do I keep saying Nicholas? Rest in peace, Nick. Love you, buddy. All right. Well, I'm gonna go now. But thank you so much for watching this special episode for God's Glory. And I'll see you all next time. God bless. I'm going to take a video. This is crazy. Anything you want to say?
We're going to miss you, Shamika.
I'm going to miss you, Nicholas Marshak.
Don't ever yell else sucks here.
You really believe that?
I do.
Aww.
You made coming to work at 5:30 in the morning a lot worthwhile.
It is cold.
It's pretty damn cold, but whatever.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.